So I had a bit of a disaster, not a disaster, that's a bit over the top, not a great weekend last weekend when had the birds out, because the weather was really bad and we had a cat jump onto the fence just behind the loft, and which spooked all the birds, or a bunch of the birds, and then literally as soon as they were up in the air flying circles, a red kite flew by really close, actually really low down, and the kite's not normally bothered, I don't think, with racing pigeons, but it was enough to spook them anyway, and so some of them just went here, there and everywhere, and one went missing, but we had some good news anyway the following day, where it managed to find its way back, and it was actually one of the youngest ones. It was one of the ones that Charlie gave me, an X-ring. Guess what? I think Pigeon's back. Yeah, there we go. Who's been out all night? Who is it then? Found your way back, that's great, isn't it? I bet you're hungry, aren't you? There you go. Oh, over the moon about that. Get some food down you. You see his ring number, it's an X, which means it's one of Charlie's, so it is one of the youngest ones, which is why it struggled to find its way back, because it's probably never been out, other than yesterday when the cat and the kite turned up. So the problem I've got here is I don't know if this one's been out before, so I don't think, if it hasn't, then it won't have been through the trap, so it's not going to know what to do. So I might have to let some of the others out to encourage it back in. I'll give him a little bit of time just to see if he can work it out. Yep. Yeah, I don't think this one's been through there. Oh, it's probably been there through there once, looks. Yes, excellent. There we go. Full house. Oh, we're happy about that, aren't we? Let's get this closed up. Oh, I'm happy about that. I think it's that one there. That's ended well, hasn't it? When I came out looking for it, when I got back from the pigeon club, it was, I could see the sparrowhawk chasing all the sparrows around, just a couple of doors down. And so the sparrowhawk was on the hunt locally, and so I did worry about it, but oh, that's good. And I picked that bird up last weekend, last Sunday, and today's Saturday. So I picked him up on Sunday, and I let him out, and none of them had been out because the weather was so rubbish. I let him out on Friday, and I don't know if he came out or not. And then, yeah, so it would be the first time out. Yeah, sorry, Thursday or Friday. Yeah, good. Well pleased about that. They're all back anyway, so we've got a team of 17, which is good. And the one that came back was pretty tired. I mean, it was a good frost that night, and it came back about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is good. So it'd been gone for almost 24 hours, but managed to find its way back. So I was happy about that. I was constantly on the lookout for sparrowhawks. It's like I'm looking forward to the point where you can actually just let them out and fly and enjoy it, because it's always on edge, waiting for a sparrowhawk to come, or not so much the cats, but the bloody birds of prey. And I've seen them every day. I see a sparrowhawk every single day, and it just happens to be when the birds are back inside. So I'm letting them out as early as I can get away with. We're particularly early today, and it seemed to be okay so far. And I just want to get them strong enough on the wing so they can fly up and be out of the way of the sparrowhawk. But we'll see how that goes anyway. So, but other than that, everything seems to be going all right. The spot on that I put on for them is working really well. None of them have got any mites. And that was within a few days. That seemed to be okay, and I've got the youngest ones really quite tame compared to the oldest ones, so I put some corn in my hand and let them feed from that, and now I just tickle them as they go, so that's quite handy for when I want to basket them up or mark them and put rings on and stuff. So they're hopefully going to get a bit of flight, but the wind I should probably bring them in soon, just because they might get carried away. They're not flying at the moment. They're just keeping their eye out like I am for any birds of prey that are about, and bloody sparrowhawks. But it seems it's you know when a sparrowhawk's coming, because there's so many wild birds here that it's almost like tremors. You can see from a distance all the birds start flying up, and they get closer and closer and closer, and then you see the sparrowhawk glide through at, you know, head height. And so if you keep your eyes peeled, you'll see it coming. You can hear some alarm calls, you see the birds start to scatter, and then you know it's on its way, but there's nothing you can do really. Nothing I can do to stop it coming, other than if it gets here, and the risk is that it scares the birds over and scatters them, and then it takes them on a different garden. But yeah, hopefully they'll be flying properly soon and be out of the way, and then it's peregrines, I guess, I have to worry about. But there's white tip. Right, we've got birds everywhere now. Yeah, getting some height now, look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh, it's awesome to see them go quick, but they've got to be careful. Wow. Just don't hit those wires. There we go again. As you can see, they're not in sync at all. Go on. If they come back overhead, they'll be really quick. Whoa! Like a bullet. So they've had a bit of a flight. Let's do a bit of trap training and see how quickly we can get them in. They're all on the roof at the moment, so I'm not going to give them the full food, and it is quite early, but we'll see how quickly we can go in. Not you, Rufus. Come on, quite good, quicker than that. Come on. Come on, you want some corn? And this seems to be quite a good way of getting them tame. If they eat out your hand, and then you just sort of run your hands in a little bit, and they get used to your hands touching them, and so when you go to pick them up, they're just not quite so scared. Come on. There's the same few squeakers that make the most fuss and noise. Took a bit of corn there. Oh, don't want to do that. I'd like to get hold of that 2012 number. Let's see what's wrong with it, if I can find it. And you stick your hand in, and they don't seem to mind so much. You just get used to your hand being in there and not hurting them. Who are you? You're the squeaker, aren't you? It's still quite early in the morning. It's not morning. What time is it? It's 12:05, so lunchtime for me, but not for them. But I just give them a bit of feed every time I trap them in, just so they know that there's something for them. There's nothing in there, sorry. Sorry, nothing there.